I'm sitting at my worn kitchen table, the morning sun barely filtering through the blinds, when I open a letter that changes everything. $35 million, inherited from my late uncle, a tech mogul I'd met maybe twice in my life. My hands tremble as I read it again, the numbers swimming through a haze of disbelief. I'm a school teacher, 38 years old, scraping by on a salary that barely covers rent in our cramped apartment. This money isn't just a windfall. It's a lifeline. My mind races, paying off debts, buying a house, maybe even quitting my job to chase dreams I'd buried long ago. I'm dizzy with possibility, my heart pounding with a joy I haven't felt in years. My husband, Mark, walks in, coffee mug in hand, his sandy hair still messy from sleep. "What's got you so worked up, Ellie?" he asks, his tone light. I can't hold it in. I leap up, throwing my arms around him. "We're set for life, babe. My uncle left me $35 million. I squeal, expecting him to match my excitement. But his face changes. His smile fades, replaced by a cold, calculating glint I've never seen in his hazel eyes. My stomach twists as he sets his mug down, his movements slow, deliberate. "We need to talk," he says, his voice sharp enough to cut glass. I freeze, the joy draining from me like air from a punctured balloon. He pulls out his phone, dials his mother, Linda, and puts her on speaker. "Mom, she got $35 million. We deserve half." My jaw drops. Half? The words hit me like a slap, betrayal slicing through my chest. I'm speechless, my mind reeling as Linda's voice crackles through, smug and greedy. "Of course we do, Mark. She's your wife. She owes us. I raised you, and now it's time she takes care of me." I'm shaking, my hands clenched into fists. They're talking about my money like it's theirs, like I'm just a vault they can crack open. I finally find my voice, though it trembles with rage and hurt. "This is my inheritance, not yours. I don't owe you a single penny." My shout echoes in the small kitchen, but Mark slams his hand on the table, his face red with fury. "We're a family, Ellie. You don't get to hog it all for yourself." Linda chimes in, her tone dripping with venom. "You're selfish, Ellie. You don't even deserve that money. You barely knew your uncle." I'm reeling, their words a barrage of arrows piercing my heart. They're rewriting our life together, acting like I've been a burden when I've carried them both for years. I'm standing there, the letter crumpled in my hand, betrayal burning through me like wildfire. I thought I knew Mark. 10 years of marriage, countless sacrifices. But now he's a stranger, his mother's greed fueling his betrayal. I'm not just hurt, I'm furious. And I know this is only the beginning of a fight I never saw coming. The kitchen becomes a battlefield. Mark's yelling, Linda's barking through the phone, and I'm fighting to hold my ground. "I've supported you both for years," I shout, my voice cracking with the weight of a decade's worth of sacrifices. "I paid the bills when you were jobless, Mark. I sent Linda money for her meds when she couldn't afford them. Hundreds of dollars, month after month." My chest heaves, tears stinging my eyes as I lay out the truth. Mark scoffs, his eyes cold as ice. "That was your duty as my wife. Now it's your duty to share this money." His words are a gut punch, twisting the knife of betrayal deeper. Linda's voice cuts through, sharp and cruel. "You're selfish, Ellie. You've always been ungrateful. Now you're hoarding millions while we struggle." I'm floored. Struggle? Linda lives in a paid-off house, and Mark's been working a cushy sales job for years. They're not struggling, they're greedy. I'm trembling, but I won't let them break me. "I don't owe you anything," I snap, my voice rising to match theirs. "This money is mine. My uncle left it to me, not you." Mark leans in, his face inches from mine, his voice low and menacing. "If you don't give us half, I'm walking out, and I'm taking you to court. You'll lose everything." My heart stops. Divorce? A lawsuit? Over money I just inherited? The room spins, but I force myself to stand tall, my hands clenched at my sides. Do it, I say, my voice steady despite the tears streaming down my cheeks. I'm not giving you a dime. Mark's eyes narrow, his jaw tight, and he grabs his keys from the counter, the jangle echoing like a gunshot. You'll regret this, he hisses, storming out the door. Linda's voice lingers on the line, cold and final. You've made a big mistake, Ellie. The call ends with a click, and I collapse into a chair, my body shaking, my world shattered. They've declared war, but I'm not backing down. I'm ready to fight for what's mine, no matter how ugly this gets. The fallout. The next morning, I wake to an empty bed. Mark's side is cold, his pillow untouched. I stumble into the living room, my heart sinking as I see his closet. Empty. His clothes, his laptop, even his toothbrush. Gone. I'm numb, staring at the bare hangers when my phone buzzes. It's my best friend Tara, her voice soft but urgent. Ellie, he's at Linda's. I heard from a neighbor, they're already talking to a lawyer. My blood boils. They're moving fast, plotting to take what's mine while I'm still picking up the pieces of my broken heart. I can't let them win. I call my own lawyer, Rachel, a no-nonsense woman with a reputation for winning tough cases. They've got no claim, she says, her voice calm but firm. It's your inheritance, not marital property. But they can drag this out, make it messy. Be ready. I nod, resolve hardening like steel. I'm in for a battle, but I'm not losing. I head to the bank, my hands still shaking as I secure the funds in a new account Mark can't touch. The teller's eyes widen at the $35 million transfer, but I'm all business. No one's getting their hands on this. Back home, I find a note taped to the door. The handwriting unmistakably Linda's. You'll pay for this, Ellie. We'll see you in court. The words drip with malice, a threat meant to scare me into submission. I crumple the paper, my hands trembling with rage. They think they can intimidate me, but they've underestimated me. I'm not just fighting for money, I'm fighting for my dignity, my future, my entire life. I pace the apartment, memories of Mark flooding back. Our first date, our wedding, the nights I stayed up helping him through job rejections. How did we get here? I'm grieving the man I thought I knew, but I'm also burning with determination. They've picked the wrong woman to mess with, and I'm ready to show them just how strong I can be. The courtroom clash. 2 months later, I'm in a cold courtroom, facing Mark and Linda across the aisle. They're smug, whispering to their lawyer, a slick man in a cheap suit who looks like he'd sell his own mother for a win. My heart's racing, but Rachel's steady beside me, her presence a lifeline. The judge, a stern woman with gray hair and sharp eyes, calls us up. Mark's lawyer starts, his voice dripping with fake sincerity. My clients are a struggling family, Your Honor. Ms. Carter is hoarding $35 million, refusing to share with her husband and his mother, who've supported her for years. I'm fuming. Struggling? Linda's wearing a new designer coat, and Mark's sporting a flashy watch I've never seen before. They're already spending, banking on winning this. Rachel stands, her voice like steel. This inheritance is my client's sole property, awarded before the marriage. They have no legal claim. None. The judge nods, her expression unreadable, but Mark jumps up, his face red with fury. She owes us, Your Honor. We're her family. She can't just cut us out. The judge bangs her gavel, silencing him, but Linda's glare burns into me, her lips curled in a sneer. I can't take it anymore. I stand, my voice shaking but firm. I supported them for years. Bills, groceries, Linda's medical costs when she couldn't pay. I worked overtime, skipped vacations, gave everything. They never said thank you. Not once. Now they want half of what's mine? They're the greedy ones, not me. The courtroom falls silent, the judge's eyes narrowing as she looks at Mark and Linda. I sit, my chest heaving. adrenaline coursing through me. I've said my piece, and it felt like a weight lifting. I'm not the villain here, no matter how they try to spin it. The verdict. The judge doesn't take long to deliberate. She returns after a tense hour, her expression unyielding. The inheritance is Ms. Ellie Carter's sole property, she declares, her voice echoing in the courtroom. No division is warranted. Case dismissed. Mark's face twists in fury, his hands slamming on the table as he shoots up, shouting, "This is outrageous!" Linda gasps, clutching her chest like she's been struck, her eyes wide with disbelief. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding, relief flooding through me. Rachel squeezes my hand, whispering, "You did it, Ellie." I nod, tears of victory welling up. I've won, fair and square. But Mark's not done. He storms over as we leave the courthouse, his voice a venomous hiss. "This isn't over, Ellie. You'll pay for this, one way or another." Linda smirks behind him, her eyes glinting with malice, her new coat a stark contrast to her bitter expression. "You'll see," she adds, her tone icy. I walk away, head high, refusing to let their threats shake me. I've got the law on my side, and I've got my freedom. That night, I celebrate quietly with Tara at my apartment, sipping tea as we toast to new beginnings. "They'll never stop," I say, my voice heavy with the weight of their hatred. Tara's eyes are fierce as she replies, "Then you keep living your best life, Ellie. Let them stew in their misery." I smile, feeling lighter than I have in months. The money's mine, my future's mine, and I'm ready to rebuild. But deep down, I know Mark and Linda won't let this go. They're too bitter, too greedy. I brace myself for what's next, a quiet strength growing inside me. I'm ready for anything. The new beginning. With the court battle behind me, I start over, piece by piece. I quit teaching, the job that drained me for years, and buy a cozy house by a serene lake, its blue waters sparkling under the sun. The $35 million gives me wings, but I'm careful. I invest most of it, living modestly while I figure out who I am without Mark's shadow. I enroll in art classes, something I've always wanted to do, and spend my days painting by the water. The brushstrokes a balm for my wounded heart. I'm finding myself again, piece by piece, the woman I was before I let Mark and Linda dim my light. One afternoon, I'm sketching the lake's horizon when Tara calls, her voice urgent. "Turn on the news, Ellie, now!" I rush inside, flipping on the TV, and there they are, Mark and Linda in handcuffs, being led into a police station. The headline blares, "Mother and son arrested in $10 million fraud scheme." My jaw drops as the reporter lays it out. They'd been scamming investors, promising fake real estate deals, using my inheritance fight as a sob story to gain sympathy. They'd raked in millions, spending it on luxury cars, vacations, even a yacht. But one investor got wise, tipped off the cops, and now they're facing serious time. I'm stunned. Karma's hit them like a freight train, and I didn't have to lift a finger. I call Rachel, who's already heard. "They thought they could play the system," she says, laughing. "Looks like the system played them." I hang up, a grin spreading across my face. I'm free, truly free, and they're paying the price for their greed. Their downfall. The fraud trial is a spectacle, dominating local news for weeks. Mark and Linda's scam unravels in court, their lies exposed in brutal detail. They'd used fake documents, forged signatures, even roped in shady partners to pull off their scheme. Witnesses testify about their arrogance, how they bragged about teaching Ellie a lesson while flashing stolen cash on luxury cars, designer clothes, and a lavish trip to the Bahamas. One investor, a retired teacher like me, tearfully recounts losing her life savings, her voice trembling as she points at them. Mark and Linda sit stone-faced, but their eyes betray panic. They know they're done. The judge isn't kind. She sentences Mark to 15 years, Linda to 12, and orders them to repay every cent, a sum they'll never manage behind bars. The courtroom erupts as they're led away, Linda shouting, "This is all Ellie's fault!" while Mark glares at the floor, defeated. I watch from home, a mix of relief and pity washing over me. They did this to themselves. Their greed was a noose they tied, and now it's tightened. I visit the lake that evening, the sunset painting the water in shades of gold and pink. I think about the years with Mark, the good times, our wedding, the nights we laughed until we cried. It hurts, but I'm healing. Their betrayal cut deep, but it also set me free. I didn't need to fight for revenge. Life did it for me. I whisper a quiet thank you to the universe, to my uncle for giving me this chance to start over. I'm not the Ellie they tried to break. I'm stronger, wiser, and I've got a future they can't touch. My victory. A year later, I'm thriving in ways I never imagined. My art's in a local gallery, a small collection of lake landscapes that sell faster than I can paint them. I've traveled to Paris, sketching along the Seine, and started a scholarship fund for kids like the ones I used to teach. Bright, eager, but held back by money. Mark and Linda are a distant memory, their names tied to scandal while I build a life of joy and purpose. I get a letter one day, from Mark, in prison. He begs for forgiveness, says he's sorry, that he and Linda were wrong, that they let greed blind them. I read it, the words hollow after all they've done, then toss it in the trash. I don't need his apology. I've moved on. Karma took care of them, and I'm living proof you don't have to get even when life does it for you. I host a small party at my lake house. Tara and new friends gathered around a bonfire, the crackling flames lighting up the night. We laugh, share stories, and toast to new beginnings, the stars above us bright and endless. I look out at the water, feeling a peace I haven't known in years. They demanded half my fortune, but they lost everything: freedom, dignity, each other, while I kept my money and my soul. I didn't just survive their betrayal, I soared above it, building a life they'll never touch. That's the sweetest victory of all, and I'm just getting started. Whoa.